I had a comment recently that called me Ghetto Guitar Repair LLC. I'll have you know I'm incorporated. Alright, sweet new ride from my friend and local musician Nils. This one is a Fender Thinline Telecaster, and he tells me it's just in from Guitar Center out of Brooklyn, New York, so I expect it should have a good setup on it if it just came out of Guitar Center, but we'll see. He wants me to restring it, clean it up, check it over. He's been playing it for about a month, and if you know him, that's enough to cause significant wear. So let's get to it. Alright, let's see how it works. That's loose. Yeah, the knob is loose too. Yeah, everything seems to be good there. Yeah, let's start taking the strings off of it and giving it a cleanup. I'm going to check these frets, but being that it's a genuine Fender and it's not that old, I'm going to say they're probably pretty good, but we'll check them anyway. So I know he's been aching for like a genuine Thinline for a while now. We actually made one out of a modern player, which took some major modification. I'll put a link in the description for that one. He wants to put some new pickups in it eventually. And now that he has another guitar, he's got some backups, he can comfortably let one go for a little bit. Yeah, those are all perfect. They actually, if you look really close, you can see the tool marks from somebody crowned it. So it looks like it's recently been done, and it doesn't really look like there's been a lot of wear on the frets anyway. So whoever owned this originally didn't play it much. But Nils will change all that. So the Thinline was developed by German luthier Roger Rossmeisel in 1968, and it was released by Fender in '69. I've read that the lightweight ash that Fender used for years was then becoming harder to find, more expensive, and this also lightened the guitar, saved them a buck in the process, you know. Gotta like that. I'm all about saving a buck. I had a comment recently that called me Ghetto Guitar Repair LLC. I'll have you know I'm incorporated. Now, you know, because this is a finished maple neck, sealed, you don't need to oil it, you're just going to be making a mess, so just use some cleaner there. Glass cleaner. Anywho, this is a 2005 Classic Series 69. And it's based on that original guitar with the maple neck and the mahogany body. It's got a polyester finish, it's got branded tuners, and the white pearloid pickguard. And I really like this headstock logo. It's like sharp, it's telling you I am a Telecaster. So the Telecaster became for sale to the public in 1950, and it wasn't called the Telecaster yet, it was called the Esquire. And they made like less than 50 of them, and most of them were returned because the neck's bent, because there was no truss rod. So they renamed it the Broadcaster, and produced more models with a truss rod. But the problem was that Gretsch owned the name Broadcaster, so they ended up switching it to the Telecaster, because in 51 and 52 the television was becoming in style. So the Thinline was discontinued in 1979, and it was resurrected in the mid-80s. And then in the 90s, it was actually adopted by like the British alternative artists, and they were scooping up the old ones and the new ones. You know, I'm just using some spray-on wax to get a good shine on there. Result. Alright, dude asked for 10, so that's what we're going to give him. Put new strings on. I like to color in the nuts with a little bit of pencil, and the graphite will give you a little bit of lube. It's an old violin maker's trick. I'm looking up a list of famous Thinline players. You know, there's been a lot of guys that use one, but they're not really known for it. You know, like Keith plays these. You know, of course, he always plays tellies, but you know he's more known for a solid body telly. But some guys that are known for this Thinline, you know, kind of started more country. You had Buck Owens, Conway Twitty, and then more rock, I guess. You had Curtis Mayfield and Dylan like these, Daryl Hall. And then when you get up towards the 90s, you start getting a lot of the alt bands, you know, the alt rockers. I guess Paul Westerberg is probably the most famous of those. Carrie Brownstein from Slater-Kinney. Dierks Bentley played one of these. Tom York from Radiohead likes these. The guy from Coldplay likes these. Jimmy Buffett likes these. Did like these. I'm doing strings on these. I like to go about 1, 2 right past it. The one I'm working on, and that's where I trim it. Push it in the hole, bend it over, roll it up. When this one was new, it would have cost about $1,000. And it came with a gig bag, I think. Fender was doing some really cool things around this time in the early 2000s. A lot of reissues like the Nocaster, the Subsonic. They had an art guitar line. The visuals on them are just really good. The aesthetics, I guess, of what they were trying to do back then. You know, trying to be as innovative as they could. As innovative as you can make a Fender, you know. I mean, they're sort of basic. It's like a Volkswagen Bug, you know. And but they're still, you know, affordable, user-friendly. That's why I've always loved Fender. You get yourself into a really nice Fender without taking out a second mortgage on your house or something, you know. So the frets pass muster. That's a good thing. The neck is nice and straight. going this way. Nice gap between on this side and this side. Going to move on to intonation. Playing through a little bit, it seems a little bit off, but I don't think you're going to get an accurate intonation with this type of bridge, these three posts here. You're going to have to make a concession here in the center between your D and your G. Somewhere in the middle, find a happy medium. Go in small increments. You know, one tip I can share on doing intonation is to not have anything under your neck. For instance, I don't want to do intonation like this because now I have a little bit of tension here on the neck, and just that little bit can take your accuracy off. So for something like this with the Tele, where the necks and the headstock isn't touching down here, I can put my hand underneath it. I'm going to do it flat here so that the neck is suspended where it's going to be, not an artificial bow made by putting it on there like that. If you have maybe like a Gibson, like a Les Paul is going to want to dive down at the headstock and support itself on the headstock, then I always like to raise the guitar so that the headstock is free hanging down there. But these weren't off too bad, just a little bit forward. I think the one upgrade I would probably make on this is a more upgraded, more modern bridge for better intonation, but I think this will work just fine. So, good. I'm going to put this knob back on, but I'm also feeling like this one's a little loose. Like maybe the nut underneath is a little loose. Well, that's just the way it is. I always like to raise them up a little bit off of the pick guard too, so that they're not dragging. Get a pick under there. I think that's pretty good. Alright, onto the switch cover here. Now, yeah, it just comes right off of there. We could get a new one of those. I don't have any. But maybe we can use some Teflon tape around that. What do you think? Let's see if that'll hold. I'll take like that much. Of course, you know, we don't want to glue it on there. In case you ever want to change the pick guard or the switch, then you'd have a real problem. That might be too much, but it could also be perfect. Let's see if it fits. Still wants to come right off. Let's see, I got some Scotch double-sided tape, which I never have luck with that stuff. It's good for paper, but that's about it. I also have some ATG tape. This stuff is like a double-sided snotty glue tape almost. So I'm thinking if I can get a little bit off of that, enough to wrap around, go on there, sort of gluey, snotty, but you'd be able to take it off easily enough. Give it a pull. It's sticking to the metal of the switch. It'll stick to the plastic, and it like doesn't dry. You know, it's not gonna go off on you into like a super glue or anything. Nice. Alright, let's see if that works. Yeah, that's good. That's the way to go. Alright. Well, this thing plays like butterscotch tastes, let me tell you. It's smooth and creamy, soft, and it just feels right. Like a Werther's. I'm going to call this one the Werther's Thinline. What do you think? It does have one flaw, which is getting more distracting to me the more I look at it, especially when I was looking at it on camera. And it's this choice of wood here, where you have this darker one and then this lighter one. I'm sure that's how they've always come, but this one's, the difference is very stark, so it's kind of distracting. But otherwise, I think he's going to have years of fun with this thing, and it suits him too. So I want to thank you for watching. Give me a thumbs up for filming for you, and we'll talk again soon.